When Allah is silent, this is how He is changing you. If this video appeared for you right now, please don't scroll away. This is not random. This moment is not accidental. Somewhere deep inside, you've been asking a question you don't say out loud anymore. You've been wondering why your DU letter 2BFA Macron letter 2BE feels unanswered, why the door stays closed, why Allah feels quiet when you need Him the most. And the silence hurts more than pain itself. If that's you, stay with me for a few minutes. What you're experiencing is not what you think it is. There is a kind of silence that feels like abandonment. You pray, you try, you wait, and nothing seems to move. Days pass, then weeks, then months. You begin to wonder if Allah is displeased with you, or worse, if you no longer matter. But what if this silence is not absence at all? What if it is a different kind of attention, a deeper kind, one that works quietly, slowly inside you? Before we go further, if content like this helps you pause, reflect, and feel closer to Allah even in difficult moments, gently like this video and consider subscribing to Deen and Discipline. Not for numbers, but so these reminders reach hearts that are quietly struggling like yours. When Allah is silent, the first thing He often changes is not your situation, but your inner state. And this is difficult for us because we are trained to look for results. We want signs outside of us. We want answers that look like movement, relief, progress. But the spiritual path does not always move outward first. Sometimes Allah works inward where no one can see, not even you. There is a wisdom shared by Rumi that reminds us that when pain enters your life, it is not there to destroy you. It is there to wake something up. Many people only turn deeply to Allah when everything they leaned on before stops working, when comfort leaves, when certainty breaks. That breaking feeling you have, the emptiness, the sense of being lost, is often the doorway, not the punishment. You may feel like you are stuck, like nothing is happening, like everyone else is moving forward while you are frozen in place. But feeling stuck does not mean Allah has stopped working. Sometimes it means He has paused the noise so you can finally hear what your heart has been avoiding. Al-Ghazali spoke about dryness in worship, about moments when prayer feels empty and the heart feels distant. He explained that these moments are not proof of hypocrisy or failure. Often, they are moments when sincerity is being purified, when worship is no longer fueled by emotion or comfort, but by choice, when you show up not because it feels good, but because Allah is still Allah. Think about that for a moment. Anyone can pray when the heart feels full. Anyone can trust when things are going well. But when Allah feels silent and you still turn to Him, even weakly, even confused, something inside you is being refined. Your intention becomes quieter, cleaner, more real. Many people never reach this stage. They leave when emotions fade. They walk away when Allah stops responding in the way they expected. But you stayed, even with questions, even with doubt, even with tiredness. That already says something about who you are becoming. There is a reason Ibn Allah spoke so deeply about delay. He taught that when Allah delays what you ask for, it is not because He forgot you. It is because He is choosing the right time for your heart, not just your life. We think delay means denial, but in the spiritual world, delay often means preparation. You might be asking Allah for relief, but what if relief arriving too early would damage you? What if the version of you today could not carry what you are asking for without losing yourself? Sometimes Allah waits until your ego softens, until your attachment loosens, until your trust becomes less conditional. Silence humbles us. It strips away our sense of control. It reveals how much we relied on outcomes instead of relying on Allah Himself. And that is uncomfortable, but it is also powerful. You may feel unseen, unchosen, forgotten. But the truth is, many people never experience this silence because they never walk close enough to Allah to notice it. This kind of struggle often comes to those who are being drawn inward, not pushed away. There's a quiet loneliness that comes with this path. You cannot always explain it to others. They may offer advice that does not fit. They may tell you to be more patient, to make more DU letter 2BFA Macron letter 2BE to move on. But they cannot feel what you feel. And that is okay. This is between you and Allah. If you are still listening, I want you to hear this clearly. Allah's silence does not mean He is disappointed in you. It often means He is teaching you to listen differently, to trust without reassurance, to love without constant reward. And yes, it hurts. Growth always does, but something is forming inside you right now, a steadiness, a depth, a kind of faith that does not collapse when emotions fade. This is why so many people remain stuck at the same level of faith for years. They never allow the silence to change them. They run from it. They distract themselves. but you are here facing it, sitting with it, trying to understand it. That matters. Soon, without warning, things may begin to shift, not always outwardly at first, but inwardly. You will notice you react differently. You depend less on validation. You fear loss a little less. You trust a little more even without proof. That is change. Real change. If this message touched something in you, share it with someone who might be quietly struggling. And leave a comment below with a single word that describes how you feel right now. Not for others, for you. Sometimes naming the feeling is the first step toward healing. And if you want to continue this journey, if you want reminders that speak to the inner battles, the waiting, the silence, and the slow rebuilding of trust, stay connected with Deen and discipline. The next video will speak about what to do when patience feels exhausted and faith feels heavy, and why that moment is more meaningful than you think. For now, take a breath. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. Allah is working even here, even now, even in the quiet. May your heart find ease without needing all the answers. May you learn to trust the silence. And may Allah meet you in it gently in the way you need most. Let me stay with you a little longer because endings come too quickly in moments like this, and your heart does not need to be rushed. There is something very important that rarely gets said. When Allah is silent, He is often teaching you who you are without constant reassurance. When praise is gone, when excitement fades, when answers do not arrive on time, in that space the layers fall away. You begin to see how much of your faith depended on outcomes instead of connection. And this is not said to shame you. It is said to free you. Many people only know Allah in moments of relief. They recognize Him when doors open, when prayers are answered quickly, when life feels smooth. But the deeper knowing of Allah is formed when none of that is present and you still turn toward Him, even tired, even confused, even with questions you are afraid to ask. Sometimes you think the silence means you are doing something wrong. You replay your mistakes. You overanalyze your intentions. You wonder if you are being punished. But the spiritual path is not always about correction. Sometimes it is about maturation, about moving from a transactional faith to a relational one. A child asks because they want something. A mature soul asks because they trust who they are asking. That transition is subtle and it is painful, but it is necessary. You may notice that during this silence, Allah removes distractions. Certain people fade away. Certain desires lose their shine. Certain habits stop satisfying you. This can feel like loss, but often it is protection. When the noise is reduced, the heart becomes more honest. And honesty is where real transformation begins. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not failing because you feel heavy. Faith was never meant to feel like constant lightness. There are seasons of weight for a reason. Muscles grow under resistance. Hearts deepen under pressure. There is also something sacred about unanswered DU letter 2BFA Macron letter 2BE. Not because Allah ignores them, but because they change how you ask. At first, you ask urgently. Then you ask patiently. Then sometimes you simply sit in Allah's presence without words. That quiet sitting is not empty. It is full of trust even if you don't realize it yet. You may be in a season where Allah is teaching you Tawakkul in a way books never could. Letting go without clarity, continuing without guarantees, loving without constant signs. This kind of trust cannot be taught through ease. It is learned through waiting, and waiting reshapes you. You might look back one day and realize that the silence saved you from becoming someone shallow, rushed, or overly attached to outcomes. It slowed you down. It forced you inward. It gave you roots instead of just branches. If you feel lonely on this path, know that many before you walked it quietly. Not all spiritual growth is visible. Not all strength is loud. Some of the strongest believers you will ever meet carry a calm that was born from long conversations with silence. Right now, you may not feel strong. That is okay. Strength is not always felt in the moment it is being built. Sometimes it shows up later when you face something that once would have shattered you and you realize it didn't. Allah is not asking you to understand everything. He is asking you to stay, to remain turned toward Him even if your steps are small, even if your voice trembles when you pray, even if all you can say is, "I am here." That is enough. If your heart feels tired, let it rest in knowing this. You are not behind. You are not being ignored. You are being shaped in a way that only silence can accomplish. And when Allah does speak again through ease, clarity, or answered prayers, you will receive it differently, with humility, with gratitude, with a heart that knows how fragile and precious connection truly is. Until then, be gentle with yourself. Stop measuring your faith by how inspired you feel. Measure it by how honestly you return again and again, even when it is hard. If you are still here listening, that itself is a sign. Not everyone has the patience to sit with reminders like this. Not everyone is willing to face the quiet places inside themselves. You are. Before you go, I want to invite you into the next reflection. In the next video on Deen and discipline, we will talk about what to do when you feel like you have given everything and still nothing has changed, and how that exact moment might be the turning point you don't see yet. If this spoke to you, leave a comment with whatever is heavy on your heart. A word, a sentence, even silence. Someone reading may realize they are not alone, and share this with one person who needs reassurance more than advice. For now, let your heart breathe. Let the silence teach you, and trust that Allah is closer than your doubts suggest. You are not waiting alone.